And I think the most significant part is as we were going through this process, I just made a decision that I'm gonna teach my kids, you know, I'm gonna tell them everything through this whole process. When I lost all the weight, and stopped drinking, and just had to learn how to communicate at a whole different level, not raising my voice, not going into, you know, crazy angry guy. I started formulating this whole livin Kaizen training model that I built. And one of the, um, core tenets was becoming a one percenter in all aspects of life: health, relationships, recreation, and wealth. And then what does that look like? And what did that look like for me and my wife at the time? Or not at the time, but what we were thinking about at the time. Only had one wife. Uh, and having to learn new language and how to communicate, because I would just do things just to piss her off. And, that I never won. Like, it was comical, and the stupid things that we do. Um, and we each knew how to push each other's buttons, and we could do it at will. And eventually it was like, man, this is just not working. So we need to like fix this. We committed to having no back door. So yeah, we committed heavily. And so I had to like step up and be the one that made the commitment. And we both had to make the commitment, but like kind of map out how we're going to do it. And we started down that process of just really just changing the language on how we communicated with each other. And I think the most significant part is as we were going through this process, I just made a decision that I'm gonna teach my kids, you know, I'm gonna tell them everything through this whole process. When I lost all the weight, and stopped drinking, and just had to learn how to communicate at a whole different level, not raising my voice, not going into, you know, crazy angry guy mode. Um, it took a few years, to unlearn all of those, I'll just call them bad habits, right? Those became my rituals on how I operated, how I communicated. And but eventually you got to ask yourself, one of my favorite questions is, how's that working for you? Right? An old Dr. Phil line. And I'd ask myself that question, and I wouldn't like the answer. And so I just kept modifying and modifying, and we finally started forming some language around, I think one of the key things that I did um, with my wife was whenever we would have some kind of conflict about something, I'm the fix it guy. So I want to like get it on the table right now. Let's put a plan in place. Let's fix it. And she's not. She's she she's like, she just wanted to talk about it. She didn't want to fix it. She just wanted to talk about it. And I'm like, why? What's the point of even talking if you're not going to fix the problem? Right? I mean, that's my entire life. Right? Like, deep root cause analysis guy in the aerospace business. Like, that's what we do, is we solve problems all the way down to the root so we can, rebuild the entire process so we don't have that consistent problem. And for her, she didn't want to talk about it. I mean, she didn't want to fix it. She just wanted to talk about it. And or just acknowledge it. And I finally got to this point where I would just go, do you want to fix the problem, or do you want to hug? And she'd go, I just want to hug. And I would just do that. Right. And I tell you how kind of stupid simple that is. But I can tell you, man, I've helped a lot of my friends use that model and have completely changed their relationships with their spouse, because I found that my wife did not want the problem solved. She just wanted to air it, or just wanted to hug to decompress and know that I would take care of her. Everything was going to be okay. And eventually I just stopped asking, do you want to fix it, or do you want a hug? I would just look at her and I go, oh man, she needs a hug. And I'd go give her a hug. And that was such a game changer. Like, it significantly changed everything in our life and our relationship. And I could say that single thing was the massive transition to change our entire trajectory of our relationship, and has made the last, 5-8 years the best ever. Family's everything. You need to put some models in place that are going to consistently help you grow as a family. And if you don't, you will absolutely destroy and separate your family if you're not going to grow together.